Every morning, two people wake up at the same time. One checks the phone, the other checks the soul. 5 years later, their lives look completely different, not because one was more talented, not because one was more lucky, but because of what they chose to do in the first 1 hour of their day. If you want to change your life, don't start with big promises. Start with small morning rituals. Every morning, life gives us a quiet invitation. It does not shout, it does not force. It simply waits to see whether we will respond with awareness or with habit. Most people wake up and immediately rush into yesterday's worries, tomorrow's fears, and everyone else's expectations. And then they wonder why life feels heavy. The truth is, the weight is not in life itself, the weight is in how we begin our day. When the eyes open in the morning, the mind is soft, impressionable, like wet clay. Whatever touches it first leaves a deep mark. If the first touch is anxiety, the whole day carries tension. If the first touch is gratitude, the entire day flows differently. That is why mornings are not just a time on the clock, they are a foundation. Build it weak, and even a beautiful house will shake. Build it strong, and even storms will pass. Before the world demands your attention, give a few moments to yourself. Sit quietly, even if only for a short while. Silence is not about doing nothing. It is about remembering who you are before roles, responsibilities, and reactions take over. In that stillness, the mind slows down and clarity begins to whisper. You may not hear answers immediately, but you will feel lighter, and that lightness is already progress. Gratitude in the morning is like tuning an instrument before a performance. Life may still play difficult notes, but your inner music stays balanced. When you thank life for breath, for another chance, for lessons learned and lessons yet to come, you shift from scarcity to abundance. You stop chasing happiness and start recognizing it. Movement is another quiet teacher. When the body moves, the mind loosens its grip on restlessness. A gentle walk, a stretch, or mindful breathing sends a simple message to life. I care for what has been entrusted to me. Discipline in the body creates discipline in choices. You don't need intensity, you need consistency. One of the most important decisions of the morning is where your attention goes. If it goes straight to the phone, your peace is outsourced. Messages, news, and comparisons decide your emotional temperature. But when you choose to guide your attention intentionally, you reclaim authority over your day. Attention is life's currency. Spend it wisely. Feed your mind something nourishing. Words of wisdom, reflection, or inspiration are not luxuries. They are necessities. Just as the stomach needs healthy food, the mind needs healthy thoughts. What you consume early becomes the voice you hear all day. Finally, set one clear intention. Not many, just one. Do one thing with sincerity and presence. Life transforms not through dramatic changes, but through small, honest commitments repeated daily. When the day ends, success is not measured by how much you achieved, but by how consciously you lived. And it all begins the moment you wake up. Change your morning gently, patiently, and watch how life slowly starts changing with you. Every morning arrives quietly, without expectations. It does not ask who you were yesterday or what mistakes you made. It simply offers you a fresh beginning, yet most of us miss this gift because we wake up already tired, already worried, already behind. The day hasn't even started, but the mind is already racing. The problem is not lack of time, the problem is lack of awareness. The first few moments after waking up are sacred. The mind is calm, the heart is open, and the soul is receptive. What you choose to place there decides the emotional direction of the day. If you begin with complaints, the day feels heavy. If you begin with calmness, even challenges feel manageable. Life does not become easy, but you become stronger. Spend a few moments in stillness. No noise, no screens, no rush. Just sit and breathe. Silence has a way of cleaning the mind gently, without effort. In silence, you remember that you are more than your deadlines, more than your responsibilities, more than your fears. This remembrance brings stability, and a stable mind responds wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Gratitude is another powerful beginning. When you wake up, acknowledge what is already right in your life. Breath is working, the heart is beating, another day has been given. Gratitude does not deny problems, it gives you the strength to face them. A thankful heart does not panic easily because it trusts that life has supported it before and will do so again. Movement in the morning is not about fitness alone, it is about respect. When you move your body mindfully, you tell life that you value this instrument you've been given. A short walk, light stretching, or simple breathing awakens not just the body but confidence. Energy flows when the body moves, and when energy flows, motivation follows naturally. One of the most silent thieves of peace is the mobile phone. The moment you give your fresh mind to notifications, comparisons, and noise, your inner balance is disturbed. The mind becomes crowded before it has even settled. Instead, choose to guide your attention. When you decide where your focus goes, you decide how your day feels. Attention is power, and power must be handled consciously. Feed your mind something uplifting. What you read or listen to early becomes the lens through which you see people and situations. Positive input does not make you unrealistic, it makes you resilient. Wisdom in the morning becomes patience in the afternoon and calmness in the evening. Before stepping into the day, set one intention. Just one, something simple and sincere. It could be kindness, focus, honesty, or effort. When the intention is clear, distractions lose strength. You may not control everything that happens, but you can always control the intention behind your actions. Life changes slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Not through dramatic events, but through daily choices made when no one is watching. And the most powerful choice is how you begin your morning. Change that, and without forcing anything, life begins to change with you. Every morning is like a mirror placed in front of life. It reflects what you are carrying inside. If you wake up hurried, the day appears chaotic. If you wake up calm, the same day feels manageable. The difference is not in circumstances, but in consciousness. Life responds not to what we want, but to how we show up. When the eyes open, the body may be awake, but the mind often remains burdened with yesterday. Regrets, comparisons, unfinished conversations quietly sit there, waiting to take charge. This is why mornings matter so deeply. They are the doorway between who you were and who you are becoming. Walk through that doorway carelessly, and you repeat the same patterns. Walk through it with awareness, and transformation begins gently. Before engaging with the outside world, pause. Even a few minutes of stillness can change the quality of the entire day. Sit quietly and breathe. Let thoughts come and go without fighting them. Stillness is not about stopping the mind. It is about not being dragged by it. In that space, you realize that peace is not something you need to search for. It is something you need to remember. Gratitude is a powerful anchor in the morning. When you acknowledge what is already present, the mind stops running toward what is missing. Gratitude does not make you complacent. It makes you grounded. From that grounding, effort becomes joyful instead of exhausting. A grateful heart carries less pressure and more clarity. The body also needs attention. Movement in the morning is a form of self-respect. When you stretch, walk, or breathe deeply, you are telling yourself that you matter. The body holds emotions, and gentle movement releases what words cannot. You don't need perfection or intensity. You need presence. Presence turns simple actions into meaningful rituals. Be mindful of what you allow into your mind first. The mind is most sensitive in the morning. If it is filled immediately with noise, opinions, and comparisons, it loses its natural balance. When you delay screens and distractions, even briefly, you protect your inner space. Attention is limited. Where you invest it decides how rich your inner life becomes. Nourish the mind with something that uplifts. A thought, a line, or a reflection that reminds you of values and purpose can guide you throughout the day. When the mind is fed wisely, reactions soften and patience increases. Wisdom absorbed in the morning becomes strength during challenges. Before stepping into your responsibilities, set a simple intention. Not a long list, not a heavy promise, just one clear direction for the heart. When intention is clear, actions align naturally. You may not control outcomes, but you can always control sincerity. Life does not demand perfection. It asks for awareness. It asks for consistency in small things. When mornings are lived consciously, days stop feeling rushed, and life stops feeling overwhelming. Over time, without force or noise, these quiet beginnings reshape character, choices, and destiny. And one day you realize that life did not suddenly change. You did. Every morning is a gentle reminder that life always gives us another chance, even when we feel undeserving of one. The sun rises without questioning our past, and time moves forward without holding grudges. Yet the way we step into the morning often decides whether the day feels like a burden or a blessing. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their peace to urgency. They rush, react, and carry invisible weight, wondering why life feels exhausting. The truth is, mornings are not meant to be rushed through. They are meant to be lived consciously. When you wake up, your mind is quiet, uncluttered by opinions and expectations. This is the moment when you are closest to your true self. If you pause here, even briefly, you begin the day rooted instead of shaken. A few slow breaths can bring more clarity than hours of overthinking later. Silence in the morning is deeply nourishing. It creates space between you and your thoughts. In that space, emotions settle and perspective returns. Silence teaches patience without words. It reminds you that not everything needs an immediate response. When you carry this calm into the day, challenges lose their power to disturb you completely. Gratitude transforms the quality of time. When you start the day by acknowledging what you already have, the mind stops complaining and starts cooperating. Gratitude does not ignore pain. It gives pain meaning. It helps you see that even difficult phases are shaping strength and understanding. A grateful mind is less anxious because it trusts the journey. Caring for the body in the morning is an act of awareness, not vanity. Gentle movement, stretching, or mindful breathing wakes up stored energy. The body remembers how it is treated. When you move with respect, the body supports you with stamina and balance. Energy created through mindful movement is stable, not restless. One of the biggest mistakes we make is handing over our attention too early. When notifications become the first voice we hear, the mind loses its center. Attention is precious, and whatever receives it grows. If you give it to worry, worry expands. If you give it to intention, purpose expands. Protecting your attention is protecting your peace. Feed your mind something meaningful. Thoughts are seeds, and mornings are fertile soil. A single uplifting idea can influence hundreds of decisions throughout the day. Wisdom does not shout, it quietly guides. When the mind is nourished, reactions soften and understanding deepens. Before stepping into the outer world, take a moment to decide how you want to show up. One clear intention is enough. It acts like a compass when distractions arise. Life may not go according to plan, but intention keeps the heart aligned. Change does not arrive suddenly. It arrives gently, through small daily choices made consistently. When mornings are lived with awareness, days become lighter, actions become wiser, and life slowly begins to reflect the calm you cultivate within. Every morning carries a quiet promise, but very few people pause long enough to receive it. We wake up, rush through routines, and step into the day half-aware, already tired. Slowly, life starts feeling repetitive, heavy, and overwhelming. We assume the problem is outside, but often the real issue is how we begin. The quality of the day is rarely decided by big events. It is decided by the first few conscious moments after waking up. When you wake up, notice the state of your mind. It is softer, less defensive, more open. This is not accidental, it is an opportunity. If you immediately fill this space with noise, worry, or pressure, the mind loses its balance. But if you allow yourself a few moments of awareness, the mind settles naturally. Calmness is not something you need to create. It is something you stop disturbing. Sitting quietly in the morning is not about escaping responsibilities. It is about preparing for them. Silence helps you observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You begin to see that many worries are repetitive stories, not real problems. This understanding brings relief. From a calm mind, decisions become clearer and reactions become gentler. Gratitude plays a powerful role in shaping perspective. When you acknowledge what is already present in your life, the mind shifts from lack to sufficiency. Gratitude does not make challenges disappear, but it changes how you face them. A grateful heart carries trust, and trust reduces fear. When fear reduces, life feels lighter, even during difficult phases. The body, too, needs gentle attention. Morning movement is not about pushing limits, it is about awakening energy. A stretch, a walk, or mindful breathing reconnects you with yourself. The body and mind are deeply connected. When the body feels respected, the mind feels supported. Energy that flows naturally brings focus and stability, not restlessness. One of the most important choices of the morning is where you place your attention. Attention is limited, yet powerful. Whatever receives it shapes your inner world. If your attention is scattered through screens and notifications, the mind becomes fragmented. When attention is guided intentionally, the mind becomes centered. Peace is not found by avoiding the world, but by engaging with it consciously. Nourishing the mind with meaningful input early in the day creates emotional strength. The thoughts you absorb influence how you speak, listen, and respond. When the mind is fed with wisdom, patience becomes easier. Understanding replaces irritation. This does not make you passive, it makes you grounded. Before stepping fully into the day, choose one intention. Not many, just one. It could be awareness, kindness, honesty, or effort. This intention becomes an anchor. When distractions arise, it reminds you who you want to be, not just what you want to achieve. Life transforms quietly, not through dramatic changes, but through small, sincere practices repeated daily. When mornings are lived with awareness, days begin to flow with clarity, and over time, life starts reflecting the peace and purpose you nurture within. Remember this, you don't need a new life, you need a new morning. Success doesn't arrive suddenly. It arrives daily, quietly, through habits. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm rings, don't just wake up your body. Wake up your purpose, because the life you dream of is already waiting for you on the other side of your morning rituals.